Hey there, happy tonight. Michelle Lee here. Day 8 inside the video matrix, blasting past fear. And today's question is, what was your favorite TV show growing up and how did it influence you? And, I started thinking about this and then the answer came immediately. And that is Punky Brewster. Hands down, my favorite show growing up. I would, I remember Punky Brewster used to start I want to say it used to start at like 8 o'clock, and my bedtime was like 7:30. And I remember just begging my dad to let me stay up. Let me stay up and watch Punky. They always had reruns going. What did I love about Punky Brewster? Okay, what I loved everything about Punky Brewster. First of all, I love that she mismatched. Anything that she wore mismatched. So it's like her socks never matched. She always had colorful clothing on. She always had just fun things in her hair. She was funny. She was curious. She loved to play outside, and she had this big, beautiful treehouse in her backyard, which I always imagined was my treehouse. And it influenced me so much so that my entire life I've always wanted a treehouse. So much so that I want to own a treehouse resort one day. I'd like to build one actually. And I really do believe that stems back to Punky Brewster and that magical treehouse that her and her friends used to hang out in. Punky Brewster also had this bed that had, it was like a cart, it was like a wagon, and it had these just big wheels, like a big wagon wheels, and the bed would go like this when she sat in it, and it would go back and forth. So when she wanted to get up in the morning, she'd sit up and then her bed would hit the floor. Anyhow, I just loved that bed. And also, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking of how Punky Brewster had her dad, which was Henry Mortimont. And Henry, who she called Henry, was, I want to say it was her foster dad. And I really related to her growing up because when she was young, I want to say her mom either died or abandoned her, and she ended up with Henry Mortimont. And I used to think that, I felt kind of like her because, my dad growing up was really my stepdad. He wasn't exactly my father. He was, a Henry Mortimont, so to say. You're the person who's totally taking care of you and raising you. That was, so I used to just hear her talk about I would just think Henry was like my dad, and her life was, fun. And, I'd like to go back and watch all the episodes to really see what was I focusing on. She had these rich friends and she never knew how to act around them. I don't know if any of you ever watched Punky Brewster. There's this oyster episode where I want to say she's at Margot's. Actually, I want to say Margot could have been there, but she went to this foster home and they were really rich. And she didn't feel like she belonged there because of how rich they were. And she's eating an oyster, and she's eating it, and it goes down her top. And the thing about Punky Brewster is I was young, when hi Coco Bear. She was so young when the show started, and I don't even know how many years it aired, but she turned into a teenager in the show, and then I was obsessed with her real life person when I was younger, which Punky Brewster's actress, her real name is Soleil Moon Frye, which I'm sure she probably changed to Soleil Moon Frye. I have no idea. I've never actually looked into it, but I used to just love that her name was Soleil Moon Frye, and even her person outside of her character was really cool. So, I could talk to you about a million different TV shows that I loved because I watched them all. TV growing up, especially in the 80s, that everything revolved around that TV. If you weren't outside until until it turned dark out, you were inside watching TV, or in our case, we were always playing games with my dad. So that's my number one show. And like I said, I could go into a million other shows that I loved and I'm sure influenced me, but that is the number one show that has influenced my life. And I'd love to know what TV show has influenced your life. What TV show have you loved, did you love, and how did it influence you then? And did it add influence in your life somehow, some way? It's a really fun question. I'd love for you to think about it and let me know. So that's day 8. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in tomorrow. I'll see you for tomorrow, day 9. Have a great night.